Hey, welcome back. We are live once again. This is Matt Quick, and I'm just scrolling through LinkedIn, just having a good old time and looking at people. And I come across Eric Horton's profile. I'm like, Eric, man, you want to come on the show and talk about networking? You know, his transition from the military to now being a transition hacker. I wanted to bring him on, so let me see if I can get him on here real fast. Oh, hey, there he is. Eric, welcome, man. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me, Matt.
Hey, so today we want to talk about networking and branding, basically, because what Eric did when left the military was he established his brand and has carried on. A little known fact: when I first transitioned from the military a couple years ago, Mike Quinn says, "Hey, call Eric Horton and get to know things." All right, so I called Eric and we had hours of phone conversations, and not everything sunk in all at once. So I appreciate all the time you spent educating me, Eric. And that's where this becomes now. I want to share that with you to talk about how you transitioned and how you brand yourself the transition hacker. So tell us about yourself, give a little intro, and tell us how you became the transition hacker.
So it came about kind of as an accident, right? So a lot of the stuff that I talked about was, building. When I retired, and I did 26 years, 7 months, and 29 days in the Army. And the hardest thing that I'd ever done was transition out of the military. And it wasn't for the fact of trying to, get a job and things like that. It was just what happens to you when you do leave the service, right? You're entering into a foreign environment. And I kept constantly going back. And in the military, I was a trained logistician. So for me, it was really easy. Logistics, Lean Six Sigma, life hacks. Those are all things that kind of teach you how to work processes simpler and smoother, right? And the whole time in the back of my head, I kept saying, man, there's got to be a better way that we can do this, right? There has to be simpler processes. There just has to be, there has to be something that we can do that's going to maximize efficiency, and get rid of some of the stuff so we don't have to stumble around with transition. And so I was like, light bulb came on and I said, I love life hacks. Life hacks are ways to make you, do normal day-to-day life options easier. And so I said, that's it. I'm going to call this the transition hack, So there's got to be ways that we can do it simpler and smarter and get a better, efficiency of our time on the back end of transition, right? Because normally when we're retired, we're like drinking from a fire hose and we're not absorbing anything, right? And it's been a common knowledge that, over the years that multitasking, you're not learning and solving anything. And so I thought that's exactly what I was trying to do as I was retiring. I was multitasking. I'm sitting at the back of the classroom. I'm working. I'm here. I'm this and I'm that. And I said, man, there's no process to it. And I said, I'm going to change that. And so the transition hacker literally was like almost from day one when I was like, there's got to be a better way. And it just kind of stuck from there. Trying to find anything that could relate into our language, just as a way that I tried to put it in our language. But in the whole goal of the transition hacker was just to get you to think about things easier and faster, so that you can maximize efforts in different areas that you probably have to focus on. And so that was just kind of how it kind of started. And so when, Mike had actually introduced it is, hey, go talk to Matt. He needs, some guidance in retirement. More of it was about showing what I did wrong versus what I did right. It was just trying to, there's a better way. I did wrong. This is what I could have done differently, So a lot of that's just what I do with the transition hacker is just talking about some of the language that we, used to do and putting it into what we need to do in our terminology. And so,
hey, we talk about networking, we talk about digital networking because that's where it's at right now. If someone's out there that it can make a difference in your life, they're probably on LinkedIn. So reach out. So for the viewers today, I'm going to steal this from Olivia because she's so good at this. Since we have some viewers today, tell us whether you're active duty military, whether you're a veteran, a military spouse. Put it in the comments, and we'll get to the comments in a little bit. But show us where you're from right now and what your status is, and whether you're not military, because career transition, a big part of career transition is from the college. So we'll get in that later on. But so now you built your brand, you teach LinkedIn, you coach LinkedIn now, and I'm sure you have people reaching out to you for opportunities to, hey, Eric, come talk to us. How's that working out for you?
Yeah.
So do you have people reaching out to you?
I do. So a lot of times what people started figuring out was that LinkedIn has a lot of different opportunities. Getting a position or finding a way into a company is just one way, right? But what if you already established and you're saying, hey, Amazon is relocating to Nashville, right? Well, I need to find another veteran that's possibly a realtor that I could, connect with, because I want to use a veteran to, buy a house in Nashville. People started kind of understanding a little bit more of the networking relationship piece of it. And so pretty soon another Army buddy said, hey, would you like to come over and talk to, I'm mentoring engineering students at this college. Would you mind coming over and talking to them? Because they're going to be needing a job when they come out. They don't understand the environment that they're going. And he's like, now that I know that this is what you did for the military, can you do this for college students as well? And I was like, absolutely. I said, because it doesn't matter. Everybody has the same common goal. More than likely, it's to find somebody that can solve a problem and find and get connected with a professional, right? So it was just one of the many ways, right? And then working with some financial advisors even was, the way that financial advisors used to even do business before was door to door and in networking pieces. And, obviously COVID changed the dynamics of even that space. And so they started even reaching out and saying, hey, Eric, can you show us how do we reach out to people to connect with them in different states or in different areas? And so then I started really realizing networking crosses every spectrum of professional development and every niche, right? And so I just named a couple of them, right? A college student trying to find an internship to get, for their next career after graduation. But it's also as much as a teacher that says, you know what, I've done teaching for 20 years and I don't want to do this anymore. I want to go back to school, be a nurse. And, I want to talk to other nurses that I can get a real, true, honest answer. Well, this is how you do it, right? Finding proctors in nursing and things. It's just, there's the opportunities that you can use LinkedIn for networking just isn't just about job hunting. And it's career development, it's professional growth and development. And it's, like I said, relocating from Amazon at Seattle, Washington to Nashville. I would like to hire a veteran that's a realtor and get some help, so and that's kind of what I've tried to focus on solving those problems.
And that leads us to the Digital Networking Professional Program, of which you're a certified digital networking coach, right?
Absolutely.
Why did you decide to go through the program, get certified, and now become a coach?
So a lot of the reasons is because the certification actually gives you a little bit more credibility, and that's across any industry, right? The minute you say somebody is trained and a specialist in that field, and it's verified with a credential, it means something differently to people, right? It lends credibility to your brand. And for me, yes, I was doing it, but it's kind of like saying I'm a shade tree mechanic or I'm an ASCE certified mechanic, right? One doesn't mean any less. It just means there's credibility that could be possibly questioned. And so the digital networking program actually gives that credibility. And then the amount of coaches that are coming through it, the credibility now is no longer in question that we're doing it for fun and we're helping. Now we are true commensurate professionals, and we're able to help you deep dive into your situation and help you solve that pathway a little bit easier, right?
I get a few people say they reach out, hey, is this a real cert? Of course it is. It's a certification process. Yes, it's a training program. And then I think back, because
it's more than that. It's
PNP,
way more than that.
SHRM, all these agile scrums, they all started somewhere. So for those that question it, that's fine. You'll see that you're already seeing the value. We're producing professionals in digital networking. They're getting jobs. We're creating coaches, providing opportunities. So it's limitless, right?
Limitless. I mean, I can't even begin to tell you about that, right? When they say, is it a legitimate certification? Well, here is the difference between, is it just a piece of paper that's going to say that you tested out? The process of getting that certification, and this is where I'm really passionate about this. Getting a certification is easy, right? Anybody can test out on it and do a brain dump later on. The difference between the digital networking certification process is you are grooming the pathway into that career. So it's not just getting the certification. It's showing you how to find at each step and immerse you into that pathway. And then that leads to the bigger success on the back end, right? So
when
you
it comes
literally
to
are
okay.
our process for success. You can't turn right around and say, I'm not certified, or I did a brain.
And this certification is a life skill, whereas
Absolutely.
your PMP and your SHRM, your SP, those are all technical skills which are invaluable. But couple those technical skills, those life skills, you're almost guaranteed a job because you have the skills, experience. Now you're going to know how to network, how to find the right people, how to brand yourself, not the transient hacker, right? We already
Right.
have that, everybody. Don't try to be that. Be somebody else. So
Yeah.
get into that space right there, learn to find the right people and engage them. You can have a network of 500,000 people or 1,000 people. Either one. If you're not talking to them, if you're not engaging with their content or creating your own or sharing experiences, what are you really saying? Why do you
Right.
even have the network? So you have a large network, Eric, and you put out information on a daily basis, right?
Right.
What is it that you get from your network? I know it's just not you don't care about the views, likes, and comments. You
Right.
must give some of the comments, right?
So I generally always read the comments, and the reason why is when I make a post, I make a post from a situation that's already happened, and I make a post so that when somebody actually looks at it, it often attracts people within my network that has this different situation and a different strategy on how they accomplished what they needed to. So for me, when I make a post, it's generally because I want to solve a problem, but I also want to look at different variances of that problem solution. And a lot of times, as you get into LinkedIn a little bit more, it's not just about building the relationships for the sake of having relationships. It's also the building the relationships for, right? Because if you get a job, and I use this as an example too, as soon as I retired and I went to go run a logistic warehouse, the first thing that I did was I reached out to friends that were at a totally different company to see, hey, how are you guys doing business in this area? And using that professional guidance in the same industry, but just in different companies, like that's great. I mean, that's another part of networking and relationship.
Yeah, that's right. I want to give a shout out right now to Daniel Donahue. Great guy, great business networking professional advocate champion. Hey, Daniel, thanks for tuning in. We're going to continue our talks, and we're going to make things happen pretty soon. So when it comes to you say you go and talk about your experiences. So people have a hard time when creating content. What's
Right.
that mean, and how can you create content? What's that even mean?
So creating content, I usually actually that is a big question. A lot of times people are really confused, and that's their stumbling block. And they say, well, how do I come up with content? I'm like, well, you're coming up with content every single day, right? The way that I talk about it with us when we're going through the DNPP is I say, let's take a look at your career, right? What did you not know about, in your career field, right? And then talk about that. What lessons did you learn now that were beneficial then? So how is that relatable to a post-service career, right? So let's unpack your entire year. At the same token, there's a lot of things that I call it on the fly, right? Like it's inspirational. It could be an experience, an event that reminded me of something back in the service, And so I keep a journal of that, and so I sit down and I just write those things out, every week, and I sit down and say, all right, what was the inspiration that I can go back on and draw from? That's on the fly aspect of it. But then the other aspect is, I have 26 years worth of experiences. Like that's a lot of content by itself. And if you looked at it like, what did you do then that's directly relatable to now? What did you do then that you wished you would have known better now? And just start kind of classifying those. And that's what we talk about in the DNPP is to how to overcome that hurdle. Because that's the first biggest question. I don't know how to get content. And I'm like, how do you not get content? Like every single day, there's something that you're doing wrong, or there's something that you did right. And there's some things that you wish you would have done differently. And that's content. And that's genuine content. That's not fabricated from this and that or whatever. That's stuff that's important to you, and also could be potentially important to another veteran that's coming out that's going to go through the exact same thing.
It's not those experiences you see on LinkedIn where the dog was going for an interview, got hit by a car, was a half hour late, still got the job because his passion was there, right? It's not that.
Right.
This is real
No.
experiences. And I share experiences all the time. People are like, you did that? No, I really did. And I may change a vowel or noun here and there, but it happened to me. I share experiences, but also I get a lot of my experiences from my communications with people every day. I'm on the phone and Zooms every day talking to transition service members, veterans, military spouses, people in career transition, college students. I absolutely love it, but it gives me content or experiences to share with others, and that's what I love. So again, we're on today talking with Eric Horton, the transition hacker. So if you want to be a transition hacker, don't. He's already got that. But if you want to learn more about becoming a certified digital networking professional, reach out to Eric. He's got the information. And Eric, you don't just teach and on Zoom. You actually go on base in Fort Campbell, right, and talk about LinkedIn.
I do. About every 2 weeks at Fort Campbell, I usually show up and volunteer the time to kind of give you the bare bones of what you need to. It's a combination of things. It's kind of like the bare bones version of why it's important, and then we talk about some of the basic fundamentals of how to set up a profile, and then we also talk about some of the expectation management pieces with LinkedIn and the post service. So yeah, I actually do that every 2 weeks at Fort Campbell from 1 to 4, and it's to spouse to veterans that sign up through the SFL Tap Center there, and yeah, we have a good time.
So if you're a military spouse, veteran, or service member in Fort Campbell, sign up for Eric's class. He will teach you LinkedIn. He will manage your expectations, because people think that it's a Facebook or a Twitter. It's not that. No. Professional networking is the best thing. So sign up for the class, get with him, and then if you want to go through his training online Zoom, you know what? That's an offline conversation. We can have that. What else you have going on? Because I know the LinkedIn Music City stuff's happening pretty soon, right?
Yeah. So LinkedIn Music Cities, our first in-person event is taking place on 16 June, which is next week, next Wednesday. And that's a great story with why that was created as well, right? So a lot of times when we transition out and we retire, we just kind of go and fade away, right? And a lot of times what we were finding was some of the traditional veteran organizations just don't meet the needs of some of the veterans that are coming out today. And there's a huge age demographics and a different way of doing business these days. Some veterans these days actually don't want to just donate money or sit at a hall. They actually want to get out and do stuff with their hands. So what we decided to do with LinkedIn Music City, which was actually to non-brand it, so it's nobody owns it, but it's a way for veterans that are already in companies to come together at one event, right? We have food, drink, and just have a good time. And then hopefully, and like I said, if you're a veteran transitioning out, you're going to meet veterans that are already in corporate settings and companies. And it's a way for you to kind of even do an in-person, hey, tell me about, Bridgestone or LG. I'd like to learn more about this, right? So and then also, what was your story? How did you do it? How can I do it differently, right? So LinkedIn Music City has kind of grown tremendously, and I can't wait to get us back up in person next week. So,
and you've got an all-star cast there going on, right?
We do. We call it the team, right? So it's TEAM, Ted, Eric, Aaron, and Michael McCoy. So it gets kind of blended perfect. And actually, the idea was fostered, and to give full credit to LinkedIn Mill City in San Antonio with Ray Domingo and his wife. They crushed it down there. And so Aaron said, "Man, why aren't we doing this here in Music City?" And that's kind of, and now 9/11 in 2018 was when we actually sat down and said, let's do it. And then it just it's grown tremendously from there. So yeah, I can't wait to do this.
And you probably have some prizes going on there. So hey, get with Eric. I'll mention him in the post. Get with Eric, follow him, connect, ask the questions, and get involved, right?
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, I can't say enough about that, right? That's another part of the tenet of who I am. I will never leave a fallen comrade behind. Doesn't mean necessarily the battlefields. It also means in civilian suits in downtown Nashville. Like, I just want to help and want to make sure everybody else can do the same thing.
Hey, we're going to go back real fast to the DNPP, the Certified Digital Networking course. So if you come to our site, digitalnetworkingprofessional.com, come here. It tells you all about the site, about the actual course that Eric and the rest of the coach are teaching. There's 4 modules. We teach you how to build a professional profile, how to build the right network for you, not just build you thousands of followers, the right network for you, how to reach out. Then we teach you how to engage with content. Eric has taught or coached some people that are self-proclaimed introverts into getting out there and talking about sharing their experiences. That's a great thing. And how you do that is, if one of your connections were to make a post, dive in and just give your thoughts on their post. You'll build confidence over time, and then you can actually share your own experiences. Your confidence builds, and then you become, a transient hacker one day, an influencer. Then last, the fourth module is fun because we teach you all the LinkedIn tools they have. Salary, interview prep. That's a great tool right there. Salary. There's how to find the jobs on LinkedIn, to use those job descriptions into your experience section on LinkedIn. Listen, it's a 4-week course. It's a 4-week course, or if you do asynchronous or self-paced, it can be 6 weeks. Take your time, do the course. It's well worth it. So again, go to digitalnetworkingprofessional.com, go to the training, apply today, give it a shot, because Eric is waiting for you. Eric, Jose Velasquez, we have Jamie Chapman. These are all coaches that really enjoy what they do. And if you're a fan of Jamie Chapman, you're going to love her course. She has some of the best resources, slides. Her passion is out there, and she absolutely loves it. Hey, Eric, this question must be for you, for Jennifer White. Are your classes, can military spouses go there? Or is this – go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, military spouses are absolutely welcomed at the SFL TAP class that we give every other week. And we actually highly encouraged it. And I'm actually surprised and a little bit shocked that we actually don't get a little bit more spouses. At every class, I generally get between 2 and 5 spouses that show up, whereas I get 30 to 35, military people. So spouses are included. And I've had a couple spouses bring their own children inside the class as well. So absolutely, you're welcome.
Can we get a picture of you holding one of those kids and teach the class like I see on LinkedIn or Facebook?
You know what? Absolutely. I'll make a purpose of that next time, because I've seen a couple.
Let's get done. That way they can study. You give the training. Focus on them, not yourself, right?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Hey, so tonight I'm teaching another cohort of professionals tonight. Eric will be on there with me, supporting, hopefully interjecting his expertise, and so will Jose. So I look forward to that. And here's Jennifer's question again. How about the LinkedIn Music City events? Come on, Eric. What's going on?
Yes, they're highly encouraged. Go to the link, or if you want to message me directly, I'll send you the link for have spouses sign up as well, because we do have food, we do have beverages, so I definitely need everybody to sign up, register for it, but they're absolutely encouraged to come.
Are those beverages cold, and are they adult?
They're cold, and we...
Oh, look, he cuts off. Look at that.
And yeah, be responsible.
Good deal. Hey, well, thank you. If you have any questions, I'll mention Eric in the post going forward. And we'll talk about this later on. I'll be on air with Eric or Jose or Jamie every Wednesday at 2 p.m. East Coast time to talk about the business networking, to answer your questions, to really talk about how this program is helping people. It's DoD approved. If you're in the military, your services fund this course. Sign up. We'll give you your invoice or quote or whatever, and we walk through the process. So I want to give a shout out to the Navy. The Navy, listen, anchors away. I spent 6 months on a Navy ship in the Marine Corps, so I didn't really appreciate the Navy, but the Navy came through big time. They put their first person through the course. They starts tonight. So we look forward to that. The Army's been tremendous for us. Their support. The Navy is really getting there. Air Force, Space Force, come on. We're waiting for you. But we have advocates out there helping us that are talking on our behalf to our leadership to say this is a valuable course. It really is. So Eric, thank you very much. I'll give you the final word if you want it.
You know what? It's not just a course. You hit the nail on the head with a life skill, right? This is going to go so much further than just the course itself, right? Not to mention the relationships you're going to build with your classmates are going to be there after you retire and transition out too, right? So it's more than a certification and a course. I can't tell you enough.
I start off all my classes with this, and I'll end every show with this right here, every live. I never got a job through a resume. I always got a job through networking. It works.
It
So,
does.
hey, we'll see you all next week, 2 p.m. East Coast time Wednesday. We're going to see you then. Until next time, have a good day, everybody. Take care.
Have a good one.